Lives of Afghans in Turkey, and specifically Istanbul, are precarious. The story of Parviz and his wife Feruza show how many Afghans in Istanbul persist despite facing issues with residence permits and facing risks of deportation. They feel stuck between feeling deportable at any moment in Turkey, struggling to make ends meet, inability to move further to Europe in the current circumstances, and unable to return to their home country, especially after the Taliban's takeover in 2021, as women would be unable to work and they would face continuing security threats. The future is worrisome, especially for children, to be able to make a decent life. Parviz is originally from Parwan, where he lived and went to school until the beginning of high school. Then his parents moved to Kabul. He completed high school and went to university in Kabul to study law and political sciences as an undergraduate degree. Simultaneously, he began working for the government for 2 years as a clerk in the presidency of the investigation of crimes. Feruza is originally from Kunduz city in Afghanistan, studied midwifery. She left Kunduz for Kabul because of the security threats on her family. Parviz and Feruza meet and get married. Then they get 4 children. Both of them encounter security dangers which force them to migrate, combined with a lack of employment opportunity.
I was under constant threat in Afghanistan. Our family enemy, a parliament member, forced me to move from Kunduz to Kabul. When I got married, the threats escalated and I had to flee the country. They killed my entire family, but I survived. 2 of the killers were arrested, but when the Taliban took power, they were released and the others reappeared. They took all our land and belongings. These relatives wanted my family's property and even tried to marry me off to one of them, an elderly man with 2 wives. My father refused, and after he won a court case against them, they killed my family. I was the only survivor. The threats worsened, forcing me to leave Afghanistan.
Toward the end, I received written threats from the Taliban that I should either stop working for the government or my life would be in danger. So I was basically forced to resign. The situation in Afghanistan got worse and it felt less safe for us. Therefore, we decided to migrate.
They completely lacked information about Turkey. We didn't know anyone here, and no one provided us with information about this place. We came here like blind persons without knowing anything about here. In general, if you do not have money and invest in Turkey, you cannot have a calm life.
Afghanistan's situation has changed drastically since 2014. It has become very unsafe, and there were no economic opportunities there. Finding work was very difficult. More people around us started to think of going to Iran with the help of a smuggler, then to Turkey and then to Europe. They told us about this, but my wife and I didn't want to leave Afghanistan and go somewhere else illegally through a very dangerous journey, especially with small children. So we decided to come to Turkey with a visa, then maybe go to Europe with the help of a smuggler. However, when we arrived here, we couldn't move forward, so we stayed.
However, Parviz had to return to Afghanistan when his mother got sick. His passport and visa expired during this time. Then he had no other choice but to try irregular ways to get here. He got caught 3 times on his route and was sent back. In the end, he managed to renew his passport in Afghanistan and get a visa to Iran. From Iran, he had to enter Turkey regularly, but he finally made it here. Feruza faced challenges during her husband's absence.
I had to work and take care of all my children by myself. I had to work part-time because of my baby, and therefore I could not make enough money to survive.
Both expressed concerns about their family's future in Turkey. They completely lacked knowledge about asylum, UN registration, and residency permits when they first arrived. They decided not to apply for UN for the moment, as they would be sent to remote satellite cities.
We didn't know anything when we first arrived. We didn't know we could apply for asylum here or register at the United Nations, not get a residence permit. We found about it 3 years after arriving. We got some help about citizenship too, but we found out that we cannot get it with this type of document that we have. We got to know some people who are in other cities and registered in the United Nations as asylum seekers. They have been in those small cities in Turkey where you cannot find work for 4 or 5 years and nothing changed for them. Life is hard for them because there is no job there. So we kept staying in Istanbul. Here you can at least find a job to have enough to survive.
Parviz used to have a short-term residency permit, but as he had to return to Afghanistan, it expired and he couldn't renew it. As a result, he lives in constant fear of being deported.
When I go outside, I plan my route like a thief. Before leaving the house, I have to be careful and I have to think twice about the path I will take. Since I don't have documents, I can't go too far from home. I usually limit my outings to the local market or work and nowhere else. When going to the market or work, I choose side streets to lessen the risk of ID checks.
My husband is currently working. It is stressful because police checks and deportations are high these days. If he is caught by the police, we need to go to another city and apply for asylum, if they accept us, of course.
Feruza herself and the children have a residence permit. However, this residence permit does not offer the guarantees that are needed. It is costly to renew and its outcomes are uncertain.
I believe that there is more pressure on the people who have a residency permit here. First, they have spent a lot of money on the residency permit. Second, we never know if we can get a renewal next year, what will change in the migration laws and rules. This creates hopelessness because you think after all the effort and time, I might lose everything suddenly. We cannot work with these permits and we have to take the risks of the cancellation of our residency by working without a permit so that we can feed ourselves and our family.
There used to be more job opportunities, but now it is less. But I have work now. I am a tailor. I work 6 days a week in a textile factory.
Parviz is concerned about economic stability and providing for his children.
Here you can work, but due to the lack of work permits, they pay you very little. In our family, I am the only breadwinner, and what I earn barely covers our expenses.
Parviz suggests providing work permits as part of the residence permit process and pathways to citizenship comparing with Europe.
I gather information about migration laws and updates through social media. I believe they should align work permit rules with European standards for foreigners. Easier access to work permits for those here for employment, followed by, for example, streamlined pathways to citizenship would be beneficial. Additionally, providing health insurance for migrants in Turkey would be a very positive step.
There should be a plan for migrants. I'm 33 and don't know my or my children's future. I want to learn a skill to work later. Organizations should create skill learning projects for migrants so that they can support themselves. Without skills, I won't be able to work or even live in a care home. I can't rely on my children to take care of me. They'll have their own lives. Governments should teach skills, especially to women, to ensure better lives. In Germany, they teach skills first, then provide jobs. This boosts migrants' self-esteem and helps the country. I've been here 7 years and could have learned a skill. The money the EU gives to Turkey could fund useful training. If each family learns a skill, society will thrive. I wish there was counseling to help me live efficiently here. I need to work now so I don't depend on anyone later. The worst thing is being dependent on someone or a country. We're like prisoners here.
To be honest, when I talk to my brother who lives with my mother in Afghanistan, he asks me to send them money for my mother and himself. There is no work there. They say that it doesn't feel safe and is not safe. They have no peace. They want to come here and be with us. I tried to invite them here, but we could not. They cannot come illegally. My mother says there is a threat to your life here and there is no work here. She says, if I'm in a safe place and can earn enough money, stay there, do not come back. Naturally, everyone wishes to return to their country, homelands, and lead a joyful, happy life with their family. However, considering the problems we face in Afghanistan, I don't plan returning, and it doesn't feel like a good option. I've invested a lot of time in the migration process, enduring various challenges. I believe I should achieve some level of success first. If the situation in my country improves and becomes safe, only then could I consider going back. Afghanistan needs a fair and a stable government to ensure safety. Without safety, people cannot open businesses and revive the economy. Currently, there are reports of prosecution and executions in the country, indicating a lack of safety. Despite claims of safety, people are escaping due to unemployment, hunger, and cold-related deaths. Existing projects seem more like a facade for international recognition rather than a genuine reconstruction. There is a lack of education, and essential institutions like universities have been closed. In the absence of a fair government with plans for education and culture, the future, I think, looks uncertain to me.
Parviz shares his aspirations for the future, his desire to escape uncertainty, move to another country, and provide a better future for his family.
I am especially concerned about my children's future. I always think about it. Planning for the future in Turkey is challenging. If someone has some savings, they might plan for a potential future here in Turkey. However, I'm waiting an opportunity to escape this uncertain situation and provide a better future for my family in another country. I simply don't want my children to share the same destiny as mine, working for others. The laws and rules here have led me to consider leaving Turkey for another country. Here you can work, but due to the lack of work permits and other rights, they pay you very little. This situation compels us to take all the risks associated with a dangerous journey to Europe in pursuit of a better future.
The ones who go to Europe irregularly have lots of money. They pay a lot to the smugglers. It's very risky anyway. We came here to live somewhere safe. Why should I risk my life and my children's lives like this? Additionally, I have a residency here and I cannot take this route. If I am caught, my residency permit will be cancelled. I want to become a citizen here. I don't want to go to Europe. It is difficult with all these children I have. The route is dangerous and I don't have the money either. The European Union should assess migrants' cases in Turkey without the precondition of applying for asylum in Turkey. I have a residency permit, but most probably my asylum case is much stronger than that of registered asylum seekers. I have strong evidence from the threats I got in Afghanistan. The process of assessing the cases takes years and years. We lose our youth waiting. Youth is the most important value of our lives, and when you lose it, you cannot get it back. Now I am young and able to work and benefit the country that I am living in. In 10 years, I will get old and have no benefits for anyone. They should create a plan for young people to be able to work. Now, with the current policies, our community has gotten old. Anyway, I thank God. Migrants already do not have their rights or gave them up when they decided to become migrants in another country. Migration itself means giving up your basic rights.